In South Africa, millions of people are doing everything right. They wake up before sunrise. They commute long distances. They give their best energy to jobs that barely see them as human. They work hard. They stay disciplined. They hustle every single day. And yet, they're still falling behind. This is the confusing part, because effort is there. Commitment is there. Sacrifice is there. But progress feels absent. You start asking quiet questions, questions you don't say out loud. What am I doing wrong? Why isn't this working? Is this all life is going to be? This video is for anyone who has asked those questions in silence. This is not a story about laziness. It's not an attack, and it's not a complaint. This is about reality. A reality many people live every day, but rarely speak about openly. Because admitting that hard work isn't enough anymore feels dangerous. It feels like giving up. It feels like failure. But naming the truth is not weakness, it's awareness. And awareness is the first step to understanding why so many people feel tired, stuck, and quietly overwhelmed, even though they're doing everything they were told to do.
For years, we were taught a simple formula. Work hard, get educated, stay disciplined, be patient, and life will reward you. This belief shaped generations. Parents sacrificed so their children could study. Teachers repeated it with confidence. Society reinforced it with stories of success. If you struggled, the answer was always the same. Just work harder. Effort was supposed to be the great equalizer, the one thing no one could take away from you. But this promise assumed a system that rewarded effort fairly. And that system slowly disappeared, without an announcement, without a warning. Today, reality looks different. People are working longer hours than ever before, commuting further, resting less, yet progress feels slower. Salaries don't stretch, promotions disappear, stability feels temporary. You do more, but gain less. And the most confusing part is that the struggle isn't caused by lack of effort. It's caused by systems that quietly shifted while expectations stayed the same. You're still expected to succeed in conditions that make success harder every year. That disconnect is where frustration begins. Survival has become expensive. Food prices rise steadily. Petrol prices are soaring. Public transport prices are ridiculous, rising every moment you blink. Worst of all, it's unreliable and dangerous. Electricity disappears. Some areas go for days without power, but payment remains steadily on the rise. Every month feels like damage control. You're not planning, you're reacting. Or better yet, recovering from the previous month's financial mess. Hard work no longer builds a future. It maintains the present. Dreams are postponed. Savings are impossible. Emergencies feel catastrophic. You're not irresponsible. You're navigating an economy where effort is absorbed by survival costs. And that reality slowly drains motivation. Education was sold as the escape route, the ticket to a better life. Study hard, get qualified, and doors will open. But today, many of those doors remain closed. Graduates sit at home. Drugs and alcohol abuse slowly creep up a wounded soul. Professionals work below their skill level, so long as it's enough to keep the lights on. Talented people wait endlessly for opportunities. Education didn't fail. What failed was the promise that opportunity would follow it. Knowledge without access becomes frustration, and frustration slowly turns into self-doubt, even when the problem was never the individual. The people remained strong. They had to adapt. Or did they? Gambling is at an all-time high and rising every year. Side hustles became normal. Rest became optional.
free time disappeared. Hustle culture promised freedom, but delivered exhaustion. South Africans are not lazy. They are overworked. When survival depends on constant motion, stopping feels dangerous. You keep going, not because you're ambitious, but because standing still feels like falling behind. Burnout doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't announce itself. There's no single breaking moment. It shows up quietly, as constant tiredness that sleep doesn't fix, as motivation that slowly fades, as emotional numbness where excitement used to live. You still wake up. You still go to work. You still respond to messages. From the outside, you look fine, responsible, productive, reliable. But inside, something feels empty. You're functioning, but not truly living. Days blur together. Weekends feel too short to matter. Rest feels unearned. And slowing down creates anxiety instead of relief. Being busy becomes your identity, because if you stop, you're forced to feel everything you've been avoiding. Fulfillment disappears quietly, not because you stopped caring, but because caring became too expensive. You carry responsibilities that never pause: financial pressure, expectations, the fear of falling behind. This isn't weakness. It isn't laziness. It isn't failure. It's the cost of carrying too much for too long without relief. It's what happens when survival requires constant effort and rest feels like a risk instead of a right. Crisis doesn't scream. It doesn't arrive with chaos or headlines. It whispers. It lives in quiet disappointment, in dreams delayed year after year, in people lowering expectations not because they stopped dreaming, but because dreaming became painful. It shows up in small decisions, choosing survival over possibility, settling just to keep going. When effort stops feeling meaningful, motivation begins to fade. And when motivation fades, hope retreats quietly. But hope doesn't disappear completely. It survives in awareness, in honest conversations, in people realizing they're not alone, and that understanding the reality is the first step toward changing how we move through it. If you feel tired, you're not weak. If you feel stuck, you are not lazy. You are responding logically to an environment that demands more and returns less. Understanding this removes shame, and shame was never supposed to be yours to carry. Hard work still matters. It always has. But pretending it's enough is the quiet lie breaking people from the inside. It convinces them that struggle is personal, that exhaustion is failure, that falling behind means they didn't try hard enough. Acknowledging reality doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing shame that was never earned. It means understanding that effort can be real even when results are unfair. Seeing clearly doesn't weaken you. It gives you back your dignity and the freedom to move forward without blaming yourself for what was never in your control. If this resonated with you, let us know in the comments. You're not alone. Subscribe for honest conversations about real life without filters.